Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another episode of Unrestricted. Now, it has been a while. I do apologize. Things got a little bit busy here in the Ribena household. Just a tad. It means I have less time for YouTube, but it's a hobby, and this is probably a little bit more important, which is right here. But yeah, we got a guest on. This guest is amazing. We got a few more lined up. If you follow my channel and subscribe to my channel, you probably have heard some of the guests coming up. So do keep an eye out. That's super exciting. I'm pumped, so you better be excited as well. But who's this one here? He's in a lot of top split races. You see him on most streams. He streams himself. He drives a purple car most of the time, actually all the time. It's probably because he is over on Switch very often, but he has been coming over to the YouTube dark side very recently. Who is it? It's the one and only Levitius. So hope you enjoy the show. Before you do get into it, don't forget, go into the description down below, look for his link, subscribe to Lev's channel, and also while you're there, just press subscribe on my channel, hit the like button, and tell us in the comment what you think of this episode. And I hope you enjoy the show. So let's get straight over to it. Let's have a look at the conversation I had with Levitius a couple of days ago. How
Hello,
are
hello,
you,
hello.
mate?
Hey man, I'm good and you, man?
Welcome. Yeah, all
Super
good.
excited for this, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Just having fast drivers on
Oh
the
man,
podcast
thanks,
seems
man.
to be the
I
thing.
appreciate it, man.
Um, I've got a thing that I want to do at some point, and I'm going to get everyone who's been on the podcast to try and take part because there's a lot of fast drivers that have been on. You're fast. We've had Sparks, who's fast.
Yeah, Sparks is really good.
And we've had Greasy, who's also very, very fast.
Do a little time trial leaderboard type of vibe or something.
Yeah, so I've got an idea. I am going to rip off Top Gear. I need to find a track in the game and a car, and try and find a name that's not starring a reasonably priced car.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing idea. Honestly, that sounds brilliant. Honestly,
So I want to do that just to see who really is the fastest on Gran Turismo.
yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
I think the best thing to do is start with telling us who is Levitius and how did he come about.
Well, people can call me by two names. It's Levi, Levitius, Levatius, even maybe. I'm 23 years old. I stream Gran Turismo, sometimes ACC, and I'm from South Africa. I overall just passionate about racing, sim racing, and yeah, I just love sharing my passion with everyone on the live streams, on videos. Yeah, anything with videos making, I love sharing about it. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're a Twitcher.
yeah, definitely.
It's weird saying that Twitcher, becoming YouTuber at the same time. So
For sure, yeah.
obviously doing the sim racing. What was that moment for you that you decided I want to share this with people? I want to start live streaming.
I remember when COVID happened in 2020. I was stuck at home because obviously everyone was stuck at home. And the F1 2020 just came out, and I was like, I need something to play while I'm at home. So I bought F1 2020, and I was so mesmerized and like hooked into the game where I see people even using steering wheels. Like I've seen it before, but I haven't really dabbled into it and see what it's actually all about. And ever since then, when I noticed that's an actual genre that people are interested in watching it, and I got into Super GT's content and a few others, I never looked back. And then I just started progressing towards building my own little setup and getting involved. And then, yeah, because honestly, it's just that was basically it. Yeah.
So with Twitch, obviously I'm going to put it on here so that people can actually know where to find you on Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you are a fun Twitch streamer.
Thanks, man.
Like one of the things that, because I found that I've got the Amazon Prime, and if anyone has Amazon Prime, pop over to Twitch and just do the Prime membership, whatever it is.
The Prime sub, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes a long way. Yeah, it does go a long way.
At very least, you got Prime. Just go in and just give this man your
Thanks,
free
man.
Prime thing. But when I went the other day, I was like, oh, what's this button do? And it's like, give me a hoo-yeah.
And then I do it on stream. Can I get a hoya? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Everyone
there's
loves
not
that
many
one.
people. It's
that's
brilliant.
like the
That's
first thing. Yeah, that was the first thing. If everyone over comes to my stream, that's the first thing they always do when they come into my chat. Like, can I get a Hoya? And then I have to reply back to them, and then it just that it breaks the ice for also the new viewers as well. So they
yeah,
don't feel like, oh man, what is this new community? I'm not sure about it yet, and then it just helps break the ice as well for them. So
yeah.
yeah,
And obviously now you're coming over into the dark side
yeah, the
of
YouTube side.
YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
which it baffles me still that you can do
Mm.
it, especially directly via Twitch.
Yes.
What are
Mm.
the challenges you're facing with that? Because from when I was in
Yeah.
your stream the other day, I could have gone onto the Twitch,
Yes.
but I decided to watch on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, and it seems like you were having issues with the chat. So do you have issues with the chat all being synced up?
Honestly, the thing is, right? YouTube has this weird delay to how everything works. You either can set your streams being low latency, where on Twitch it's always low latency. So they've got that built in. While YouTube, you can decide if you want normal latency, which is like about a 15-second delay, then ultra low latency, which is basically 2 or 3 seconds of time, and then you
Yeah.
can yeah, it depends. You sacrifice quality for being responsive, but honestly, I think I was just teething problems with how I was just getting used to how Twitch works and YouTube works at the same time, and now I've combined both chats in one little dialogue. It just basically it's all mixed in one chat now through
Okay.
this one app I use. So honestly, all the issues I had on Monday was just I just teething problems per se, and then yeah, I figured it out. Honestly, I just adapted and figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. It's refreshing to see because obviously
Mm.
I have to always get out of a different app into go into Twitch
Yes, for
specifically
sure.
because there's only about 2 or 3 people that I watch on Twitch. I think it's yourself, guy called Shocky, and
Mm.
is it Just Hun that I
Yes, just time.
watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's
so
amazing. Yeah,
yeah, she's brilliant. I mean, if you're watching this and you want to come on the podcast, we could do with more female guests. So that's
for
another
sure.
plug
Yeah.
there. But yeah, it's I have to purposely go into that app. But seeing that you can just do it onto YouTube, it's like, oh, no, I can watch him live now. I
Honestly,
can
it's
just
amazing because that's what I've been waiting for. I could have been doing this for ages now, but because it was against Twitch terms of service, and I put so much work into Twitch, and starting from basically nothing and getting to where I am now, I wasn't like it was not worth risking losing my channel for that. But ever since they announced that you can do simulcasting with some conditions, which I'm not happy about, but we'll leave that. Listen, basically, overall, it's a W because I can just
yeah,
share more to other communities that I feel GT7 is a better uh, game for YouTube. Twitch is still a good platform for GT7, but it's a lot more. The discoverability is a bit lower, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
So it's easier on YouTube because it's just it's very car related content is much more accessible. I feel like on YouTube.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. What I found the issue with Twitch is the only way I can really find someone,
yeah,
unless I know who I'm specifically going for, is you go
yes,
into the game that you want to watch, and
mm,
you can filter it by the people with the most viewers,
yeah,
or the people with the least viewers.
and then everyone in the middle is just diluted in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you kind of have to like kind of scroll and see, do I like the look of that one? Do I not like the look of
mm,
it? That's the bit that I find when I was on Twitch. That's what I found frustrating is it's very hard to get
mm,
someone to notice you. Whereas with YouTube, if you can kind of half understand the algorithm,
mm.
you've got a good chance of being found.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I've
that's
noticed that
something
already.
I've
Yeah.
that's one thing I have been working really really hard on is just understanding
Yeah, and also to
the
touch on
YouTube
your
algorithm.
subject there about seeing if someone actually wants to be there watching your stream. That was one thing since day one when I started on Twitch. Basically, having always talking on your stream, even if no one was there. I remember July 2016 when I started streaming consistently 5 days a week. Always talk on your stream. Don't be quiet. I know it was so difficult for me for the first probably 2 3 months before I got affiliate on Twitch. Basically, just talking and having interesting things to say, even if there's not a lot of people there. You need to make sure you're interesting when someone isn't like just coming in and seeing your stream,
Yeah.
and that's what I've been trying to do. Just be entertaining and interesting at the same time, and yeah, just never look back from that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really good advice to anyone who's thinking of streaming
Everyone, I
because
hope. Yeah.
I came across someone. I don't know if you've heard of Harris Heller,
Harris Heller? I'm not sure.
Senpai
No.
Gaming. So he's
Yes,
got
yes, I
YouTube.
have. Yeah, I have. I
Senpai
have.
Gaming, yeah. So
Hmm.
um, because you see, his thumbnails are really good, and
Hmm.
I've started watching him, and he's got a lot of good tips. He even had an interview with the head of Twitch last week, I think it is,
Yeah, he made. Yeah,
and he gave that advice of, regardless of how many people are watching, just talk like you got a big following.
for
Just
sure. Yeah.
just keep it going. I mean, one thing I'm actually starting to do, because I find that I don't give a lot of camera contact when I'm
Hmm.
streaming,
Yeah.
especially with my eyes, is to actually get a picture of
Yes.
someone that you kind of want to talk to, and
Oh
put
yeah,
that
that helps as well.
person
Yeah.
above the camera, and then you can make eye contact with that. So that's one thing I'm
Hmm.
kind of. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good advice that to
Yeah, I'll go a long way
anyone.
for sure.
Yeah, and obviously you do your streaming, but not just that. You are quick.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, lots of
That is
love
the
and
one
passion
thing.
towards that. Yeah.
Like, no matter, I respect anyone who is quick on Gran Turismo or any
Hmm.
sim racing game, because for the life of me, no matter how much I try,
Yeah.
I just can't seem to get any quicker. Like, I've done everything of trying to look further down the track, trying to, you
Hmm.
know, change the way I drive, my throttle control, my trail braking, and I can just never get that extra 1 or 2%.
I remember when I joined the Gran Turismo community. Maybe I should, before I jump onto that, but I just want to give some context to how I actually joined the GD community and then how I
Yeah,
learned from other people. Right. I was a very casual Gran Turismo player on a controller even before F1 2020, but just sometimes I played it. When I was 10 years old, I used to play GD5 all the time. But that was a long time ago, and then I fell out of love with the game, and then GD Sport came around, played it a little bit, and then when I found out GD7's coming out, this is after I got into the whole sim racing craze. I had a wheel already, and I was like, I want to get into Gran Turismo again because I know that whole like niche of game is amazing, right? And I wasn't the best. I was just always looking at others and trying to understand what they're doing, and I used to microanalyze what are they doing? What are they doing with the brakes? When are they braking? When are they turning in? When they're accelerating? What gears they're using? And honestly, that micro analyzing, it initially was overwhelming, but then when you started like to understand what they're actually doing in your feeding, and then it started like showing my racing, it just kept on building up in terms of a level of like information. You understand what's going on, and then yeah, and that's just how it just started developing. I was a B-rated driver at the beginning of GD7, and then I watched Wynn's content, and then he was very helpful to help me out. And then yeah, it just teaching helped me as well. I watched a lot of these videos, and then it just kept on developing what I was doing, and then just yeah, lots of determination, really. Yeah,
I mean that's the one thing, because like a bit like you, it weren't until
mm,
GT7 came out. So
yeah,
I know there's a lot of beef that goes around on Twitter and all this sort of stuff, but
yeah,
I think no matter how bad PDR at the moment is,
mm,
Gran Turismo 7, not
for sure.
sport, has
Mm.
given us this platform.
No, it has,
Um,
bro. It has. Yeah,
so regardless of if they never gave us another update, we're still
mm,
going to be streaming. We're still going to be playing this game.
yeah,
And because I did play sport like yourself, when COVID hit,
mm,
I had GT Sport. I had a
mm,
G29, and I was sitting on the sofa with a GT Omega Classic wheel stand that just folded up, and I could put
yeah.
it away.
I had it
Um,
against on my desk. Yeah, yeah. I had mine on my
yeah,
desk at the time. Yeah.
and I didn't kind of like played F1 2020, 2021, 22. I started
2020 was
getting
my
little,
favorite.
yeah,
Yeah.
22. I kind of went off it.
Me too. Oh
Um,
no, that killed it for me. That killed it for me. That game. Yeah.
I've got 23. I've barely touched it.
Mm.
I'm hoping 24 is going to be a big
Mm.
overhaul. I'm hoping.
Honestly, I like the F1 games, right? But Gran Turismo just keeps sucking me in compared to the F1 game, which is looks almost the same from 2015 when they had that huge generation leap
Yeah,
from the PS3 to PS4. I'm waiting for that next generational leap to dabble in it again because honestly, it looks very similar to even F1 2020, just updated slightly, and the cars are different. So yeah, that's why I
they
like about
haven't changed.
GT7.
They haven't changed
Yeah,
it. One of the things I hated about 22, I liked it at the start when it came out, is you
yeah.
could do the supercars. Because one
Mm.
thing, since GT7, I've started loving GT3 cars and GT4
Yeah,
racing.
dude, I've fallen in love with those cars completely.
I
It's
was like,
yeah, still in my
I'd
heart.
never, I've never used to give them two looks other than like Le Mans and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
like,
Yeah,
and now I'm like, hold on, I want to go and watch a GT, the Fanatec
it's
GT series.
and it's also it's cheaper than F1, so it's a lot more
Well,
accessible as
it's
well.
that as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And also Valentino Rossi is
Ah,
racing a
MotoGP
GT3
legend. I
car.
love him. I love that guy, man. He's
Um,
amazing.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Rossi, only because the in-laws are massive Rossi fans.
Yeah,
I mean, when I'm telling you, there's tattoos, there's memorabilia, there's going to
hyper Rossi
MotoGP.
fan. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've kind of always been like, yeah, but Miguel Oliveira, and because he's being Portuguese, and then
Yes.
he went to the KTM, and then that bloody South African Brad Binder came along.
Ratty
I was like,
boy.
why? But yeah,
Yeah.
so I love my motorbike racing. I love my car racing, and just I don't know. It's like it's just a community that you kind of build, and you kind of just get to know
Anything
more
around
people.
racing. That's what my that's also what people loved hearing about me. I'm so passionate about, especially WEC, MotoGP, F1, some rallying, especially I forgot the short form rallying, which is like racing around small
Rallycross.
circuits, rallycross. I was also very much into that. So honestly, all that type of racing, I just talk about when like the events happen. That's what people loved hearing. And we just talk about anything motorsport
Yeah.
and yeah, honest, that's just love anything with the engine and racing. Really, that's what's
See,
about.
to me, it's anything on wheels.
Yeah, anything on wheels, even you could say.
Yeah, like
For sure.
as you can see there, I mean that's me in a single
Yeah.
seater race car at Donington.
That's so cool, man.
You
That's
can see
so
all the Legos back there.
Dude, all
so-
my stuff is behind me. I've got a Ferrari
Yeah.
like
and
painting here.
even
Yeah.
like I'll put these pictures up, but to my left, I've actually put some of my cycling medals from when I used to do endurance bike rides, so 100-mile bike rides. So which were torturous. I'm never getting on a bicycle again.
That's what got me into gaming. You know that I used to do mountain biking my own, and I got a huge injury on my knee once. I've still got the scar, but I spoke about this once before. I was going down this really steep cliff. It was about probably a 40-degree decline, and my mate kicked up a decently sized rock on the trail. I hit it. I rolled over, and my knee was so sore after that, and had to have a break for like 3 months. And then that moment of me falling, I was like, no, I can't do this. No, I was like, no.
Mine is
Not happening
slightly.
again.
My fear
Yeah.
is slightly different. So,
Yeah.
and it's a very weird fear because, I mean, with your pedals. So when you do mountain biking, were you having
Yes.
clipped-on pedals, or did you have the
Oh, no,
ones
no,
with
no,
the
no.
spikes on?
I had with the spikes on, but then I transitioned over the cleats. But that's what scared me
Yeah.
because I was stuck to my bike.
Right. I felt so. Those mountain bike pedals are the things I dread the most.
Vicious.
Only because when I was in London, I used to before when I was started training and all of that, I had a road bike, and people might hate me for it, but I started loving cycling when Lance Armstrong was winning. I used to watch the Tour de France, and I was like, I want to watch Lance Armstrong. So when I got my first ever paycheck, I was like, I want to buy a road bike, and it has to be yellow. But cycling in London, the pedals that came with it were really crap. So
Yeah.
I thought, I need some pedals that have a bit more grip, especially when it rains. So I went and got those mountain bike pedals. Yeah.
That's no.
So I remember one morning going to work, it was raining, and my foot slipped off, and the spike on the pedal
Went
caught me
into
on
your
the shin.
shoulders. Oh,
Right on my
yes.
shin. So I've got a scar that's about that big on my
Yeah.
leg, on my shin
Yeah,
from those pedals.
That's relatable. That's very relatable, man. That's so relatable. Oh, that's not a best
so
experience.
No.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, I'm getting the cleats. I'm getting clip-on pedals.
Yeah,
which-
upgrade.
But what people don't tell you is,
Yes.
like you said, the fear of falling off and not being able to unclip is real. So I remember the next day going to work,
Yeah.
and I got to the end of the road, and luckily it's a little alleyway between the primary school I went to and the church, so no one saw it. I can just remember trying to unclip, and it
it
wasn't
just
on
didn't.
clipping.
And
So
it
I've
just
literally hit the brakes and just toppled over. Um,
oh no, this is
um,
all relatable to me when I used to do it. It's so relatable, man.
yeah, and then
Oh no,
but
man.
then you get used to it. Like now, like if I was to get on the bike, I know the first thing that my brain does is flick
Mm.
your heel to one side, and it just pops out.
It just pops out. Well, yeah, I've had that same issue where I've got stuck on a water bridge, which is very unstable, and I fell into a little bit of a lake. So yeah,
Yeah,
cleats are not for the faint-hearted if you don't know use them.
no, but yeah, but I used to cycle every day in London. It used to
Mm,
be my only form of commute. I
yeah,
could cycle from one end of London to the next in 28 minutes
that's crazy.
on a
Jeez.
bike. Like to get public transport was at least an hour. So to me,
Hmm.
it was like no brainer, cycle.
Mm, just do it,
Um,
yeah.
and then when Formula E was at Battersea Park, it's like I'm going through
Yeah.
Battersea Park and I'm doing part of this Formula E track on my bike.
It's so
Um,
cool.
and then I moved up here to the north,
Mm.
and the roads are quieter. There's less cars on the road, and I'm like, I'm just too scared to go out there on the bike.
I will. That's similar to South Africa, where I don't cycle any time after a certain like 6 p.m. or so when it gets dark. I am not cycling because it gets a bit too dark because you know how the light situation is in this
Yeah,
country. So I'm usually just not racing, riding in the mornings with my
yeah,
mates or in the afternoons, later afternoons where it's not as hot. But
yeah,
yeah, that's what I used to do all the time. It was good fun, really good fun.
yeah. All right, but taking it back to
Mm,
motorsport and sim racing, right?
yeah.
You are part of TX3, is that right?
Yes, TX3, Virtual
Right.
Drivers by
So
TX3. Yeah.
okay. So for anyone who doesn't really know, like myself, what is TX3? I'm guessing it's like an esports team.
So TX3 originally started as Team Xbox 360. They used to do a lot of Forza stuff, and then after that, they branched out into other sim racing ventures. They do iRacing, they do Gran Turismo 7 like now, and they do ACC. But especially Gran Turismo is one of their main titles now they focus on. And yeah, I joined them about last year in September, and it's been an amazing journey so far developing the team and basically getting more exposure around them because of how of a genuine organization they are and how well they represent the sim racing community as well. You have to be very. It's an honor to join them because they pride themselves in how they take sim racing so seriously, if you know what I mean. And yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic work they do.
And you got some fast drivers, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
just right. If there was an Inter TX3 race,
Yes.
who would be quicker? Would it be you or would
Oh,
it be
so
Wind?
oh no no. So listen, right? We've got some professional drivers also in our team from Japan. I would say I'll be the top five because we've got Wind. Obviously, I feel like Wind is still quicker than me. He's extremely talented, and then we've got some Japanese F4 drivers. But honestly, it's probably from Wind and myself all the way. We've got like probably 15 of the drivers who are very competitive. And honestly, it's that I've been pushing to get them to join us to build our strength of team. That you'll probably see now, probably if we're doing an official season at this moment, would have about 4 or 5 TX3 members in
Yeah,
split two, and then maybe Wind and a few others in split one of their regions. Because we got Tokari, which is a F4 Japanese driver who is a part of TX3. He's absolutely killing it right now, and he qualified for the World Tour for Toyota manufacturers, and then Japan as well. So honestly, it's a great work by them. So,
being an F4, is that the same series that Igor Fraga is in?
I'm pretty sure it is. He also does a little bit of. He's involved in the same community because you know how Japanese motor racing goes. They all go to the same track every weekend. So you've got the Super GT there. You've got the F4s and F3s. I'm pretty sure also go there at the same time, roughly. So yeah, it's in the same community or paddock, you could say, just
Yeah,
different series. Yeah.
yeah, because that's one thing that I've also started watching recently is the Japanese
Mm.
Super Formula.
Yo, it is good
Um,
fun to watch that. Yeah, with Liam and Lawson there as well. Yeah.
yeah, and the tracks, it's like because when you use the Super Formula car in GT7, it's a completely
Mm.
different car to drive. So like
Yeah.
seeing it in real life, it's like that's the race we do in Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
That's the car we use and that
that's what I love
track.
about it. Yeah, because it's a official supplier or a partner, pardon me, and it's great to have that. Basically it's the Formula One or Gran Turismo because they can't get all the F1 cars in the game for licensing, whatever. But yeah, it's just great fun to experience what they have, and it's quite close to real life. Honestly, it
Yeah.
really is with the models as well. It's just amazing what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm doing the Formula 2K series with Sir Racing. The
Yeah.
race. So I was like, I've always raced like, and I can understand the whole TX3 thing a little bit. I've always raced like myself and then go into sport mode, and it's like, how often can you do the sport mode and have the same sort of dirty drivers that we all experience it. And
Yeah,
I
we all do.
thought
Yeah.
I did the creator series with Kirif, and I kind of came across Dream, who started Sir Racing, and I was like, hold on, what's all this about? So invited me in. I had a couple of races, and I was like, this is completely different type of races. Like they've changed like how you can play Gran Turismo. So
Yeah. It's come
we do
so far.
endurance races. Like everyone's calling
In
out
those
for
cars.
so everyone's calling out for daily race D because everyone wants strategy, right? So what we do with Sir Racing is we did a Group 2 championship for 6 weeks. So we did Le Mans, then we did I can't remember what we did. I think Nürburgring was on there. Alsace was on there.
Oh, Alsace is really good. I like some of the layouts. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did Spa as well. So that was a 90-minute race.
90 minutes. That's a
So
nice length. Yeah.
so 90 minutes. You can play any strategy you want. So the only thing is, if you whatever tire you qualify on, you have to
You
start
have
the
to
race.
start. That's an awesome strategy. I wish we could have it in our dailies because
Yeah.
touching on what you said also about Daily Race D, I also would love to have a Daily Race D, but I think my idea of it would be trying to do it in peak hours. So probably, let's say generally speaking, maybe 4 p.m. GMT to maybe 8 9 p.m. GMT. To have a data SD, because if we had it outside of the peak hours, I think it would be very slow and not a lot
Yeah.
of people actually joining into it. But having a selected time slot that people oh no, we can do this every hour. We've got a data SD for like 5 races in the evening. Let's do them then, and it would attract more people for that time. So we can maybe have a short little quality switch and then a 45 50 minute race, and
Yeah.
that'll happen for 5 6 hours, and maybe it rotates, maybe the race rotates daily. I don't know, maybe that's a bit too much, but let's just say, for example, time slot selected for peak hours of the regions. That'll be awesome.
I think what they could do is, obviously you know this from the F1 games, is when you go into multiplayer,
Yeah.
you never know what the next race is going to be. So you go in and you go into the lobby, and then you can select which
Or you can
track
vote,
you want to
I
do.
think. Also vote.
Yeah, you can vote.
I like that aspect. I do like that. It's a bit more like how Forza Motorsport's doing it right now.
Yeah.
I like that. I wish, honestly, if we could have a hybrid between how Gran Turismo does their dailies, their sport mode races, and how Forza Motorsport does it. Because I love what Forza's doing with some of their racing online. If we could have like a hybrid, so it isn't so random, the races, or maybe we do have one like daily race, a random race, maybe no DR for that one, or maybe keep DR and make it random, and then the others are stagnant for the week. That would
Yeah.
be awesome, having a refresh all the time. Maybe have 7 races in the week, and it'll just keep like rotating. That would be cool. Just have a bit more variety. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what I would love to see. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll get there. I think it will. I've said it before on one of my streams that I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because up to now they got a lot that they're trying to balance. So you think they're trying to balance GT Sport, they're trying to balance GT7 on the PS4 and on the PS5. Right.
Yeah, I've got it very strong about that. I got a strong belief about that. Yeah.
So just like I know there was a lot of debates about race cars.
Yes.
Let's just put that to the side. I think because my argument with all of that isn't to do with the race cars itself. It's to do with there's a lot more that we need to fix in sport mode before we start getting new cars.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, how often have we used the Ford GT?
Oh, the Ford GT, the new one is barely ever used.
Or the Bentley, or the Aston.
Yeah,
You know, so
it's pretty limited.
that's my thing is the BOP needs to be improved.
Mm.
The lobbies need to be improved. They're still not great.
The custom lobbies, right?
No, the sport mode lobbies, because we've
In
already got
what way?
16. So we've got 16 cars at the
Yes,
moment.
definitely. I honestly think the reason it's stuck on 16 is because of PS4 still being linked to the game completely.
Yep.
And I made this suggestion on stream that people they need to think about possibly separating the core sport mode into PS4 and PS5 only now, because at the moment it is separated when you're in peak hours, when you're racing maybe A plus levels. But then if you're in a maybe a C rated driver or a D rated driver, maybe even B, possibly B as well, you're racing PS4 and PS5 and it's mixed. And I think that's a good idea, because I think generally speaking, more of the high rated drivers have got PS5s now, while the
Yep.
slightly more less engaged races are still on PS4 because they don't need to upgrade. You know what I mean? They don't need to.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's more than enough players to be on PS4, but then have the PS5 player base have 20, 24 people in the lobby. Because I know it's possible. The PS5 can handle it. It's just and also the penalty system as well. It's
Yeah.
also a bit of the talking point. I totally agree with you. It's the situation with COVID, how everything started and they had to sell as many copies of the game because the PS5 wasn't being made enough. And
Yeah.
it's a tricky situation. Yeah.
It's all a balance in that. Like, personally, I think that Gran Turismo 7 came out before it was due to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you just said,
100%.
I think
100%.
the game wasn't ready, so we have to give them a bit of benefit of the doubt. And to be fair to them, they are giving us free updates. They don't have to.
That's amazing.
That they don't have to, but they are. And I feel like we should get newer car models, like newer race cars, newer GT3 cars. Like if you look at ACC, I love using the new Lambo, the GT3.
I would
Evo
love
2.
to as well. I would love to have all those new cars in the game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I understand what's everyone's frustrations, especially this update as well.
Yeah.
No new, everyone's complaining. The thing is, right, I can see both perspectives. The more casual single player oriented player on Gran Turismo is so excited, right? And then you've got the more hardcore sport mode racer who is not as satisfied. That was the general feeling I was getting in the update, because it's either everyone's very happy or everyone's upset.
Yeah.
And honestly, I understand it. I think is I've come to the conclusion, right? Gran Turismo will always release high quality cars into their game, and they'll do their best to probably push for race cars. But I also understand what the difficulty is to bring it into the game, because of how much money they have to pay to get that car scanned, get that car into the game. And because it's all free, the updates, the funding is probably limited, and that's why they can't do it. And the thing is, right, if you make it cost money, that's going to cause a whole lot of other issues because then it's pay to win. If this car's going to be good, oh no, you have to buy this car to be good at sport mode, and then this whole can of worms can be open. So it's just the whole model of Gran Turismo, how they made it is just, it could have been done better maybe by now.
Yeah. I think they tried to do, and I think what people need to understand is there's two types of Gran Turismo game. There's Gran Turismo, which is what we had up until Gran Turismo Sport.
Yes.
And then you had Gran Turismo Sport, which is it's a Gran Turismo game, but it's completely
more
different.
Multiplayer focused. Yeah.
So, and the best way to compare it is you got Assetto Corsa and you got ACC. They're two games with the same name, but they're completely different. So,
yeah,
it's. I think what I try to explain is Gran Turismo 7 is Gran Turismo, and it's also trying to be Gran Turismo Sport.
They're spreading themselves too thin, I feel. That's what I'm getting here right now.
So maybe they should have kept GT Sport and brought out GT7, mainly focused on the single player, and then you kind of keep both people happy.
It's a tricky situation because people think, oh no, but now why are they catering to the single player? But that's almost the entire player base. People don't understand actually how many people play the single player base over sport. And I feel like I understand how Gran Turismo are trying to cater to everyone. Yeah. So when you go to, let's say, a custom race and you see the new track, Lake Louise, it's generally just stacked with so many drivers, but not necessarily the top split drivers are as interested. It's super engaging for the lower levels, but then when you get to the higher drivers, I just see all of them are like, yeah, that's cool. And now they move back onto the circuit racing already. You know,
Yeah.
it's difficult to please everyone because it takes such a long time for them to make the content. But I don't want to say it and like cut them slack, because I do feel like they
No,
should
we
also.
can't cut them slack.
No, we can't cut them slack because I
Yeah.
feel like it's been so long, and this year. I feel like they're going through the cycle again where they stack the end and the beginning of the year of updates, and in the middle of the year, it's like drip feeding us with a
Yeah.
little bit of updates. It's
My
tricky.
hope, my hope
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that this is the start of something good. So like they have to cater for their biggest player base. And I know there's not a
yes,
lot of stats out there.
yeah,
All I can go by is what I know from my own channel and from my own
yes,
experiences. Like we're recording this on the 5th of November, right? And just to give people context, I put a video out around 1 a.m.
yes,
So at the moment, probably just over 12 hours ago.
and it's doing amazing.
And it's focusing on the single player side of the game, right? I can put a
Exactly. Yeah.
sport mode video out and get 300-400 views, right? I'm going to look at the stats now, and in the first 15 hours, so this video went live 15 hours ago,
Yes,
I've had 17.2 thousand views
that's insane
on,
compared to a sport mode video, which is
right? So those sort of numbers are done by the big YouTubers. I mean, we're talking Rory does those sort of numbers in the first
yeah,
15 hours.
yeah.
It's blowing my mind so that just shows you like
The interest in the game.
the interest in the offline mode is so much greater than the sport mode. So
Yes.
if you're polyphony, and I'm saying this as someone who does sport mode. I drive sport mode on all my live streams pretty much.
Yeah, me too.
I do lobbies, and I also love doing the money videos. I like grinding for money so I can buy new cars. I like doing all
Me
that
too.
sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm like 40 away from getting all the cars completed now. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're polyphony digital, what are you going to do? You're going to focus on.
Single
You're going to
player.
have to. You're going to have to annoy someone with the update. So who are you going to annoy? Are you going to annoy
Yeah.
the small percentage or the big percentage? That's not
You know
to
what they're
say,
gonna
like you
choose.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not to excuse them, because criticism is the only way they can improve,
Yes.
and competition. So Forza Motorsport has forced
It's
PD's
amazing for
hands.
Gran Turismo. I feel like that's amazing for Gran Turismo because they'll when they innovate, Gran Turismo is looking. Even if they say,
Yeah,
"Oh no," but the game is on a different console. It is, even though it's like very different to Gran Turismo. It's more of a controller game. It is still directly aimed at Gran Turismo,
yeah.
and honestly, it's
So
a good thing. It only can be a good
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
and the only thing I hope will happen, and I'm confident they'll do it. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Is
yeah,
this is the first update of Spec 2. This is Spec
yes,
2. So this, and it's probably very exciting, and it's where everyone should be excited about it. This is when Gran Turismo should have come out.
yeah. Thing is, maybe I think it would have been ready. I think it would have been
Yeah.
ready by beginning 2023 because they made everything work very well by then. Not very well. I think custom lobbies it's a hit or miss thing for the hosts. If it's a European host, it's good, but
Yeah.
overall, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
I won't complain. I whatever they had already was good. The single player felt a little bit repetitive, doing only like 4 events that would give you
Yeah.
a lot of cash until now. Until now, as you said, now there's
It's
so many you could do now because of this all the like money grinding
yeah.
tactics you could do now. So yeah, I know
And
what you mean by that. Yeah.
yeah, and those money videos, I mean, they're. But going back to that, I'm
Yes.
hopeful that the next update
Yes.
is going to focus more on sport mode, because you can't do it all in one update. This is a big update, so I'm hoping that next
I
month.
probably next month maybe. I honestly feel considering how much they put into this update, I would expect personally because they've got the World Tour event happening. I think in December. Don't correct me if I'm wrong.
In December, I think it's
December.
December. Yeah,
I won't expect anything huge for sport until after that event because they don't want to change BOPs. Because they're doing custom BOP already on the
yeah,
custom BOP they have already. But I would expect probably January if they're going to change anything massive because they wouldn't want to change the physics 2 weeks before one of the biggest
yeah,
Grand Tour events of the year. I feel for December they're going to do a lot of those special events that they did last year where we got increased payouts, which is amazing. All these things I'm saying right now, I want to see back. The custom payouts where for Darius A for the first like few days of the week, it's going to be like 400% increase in
Yeah,
payouts. And then maybe the events they just change them every 2 days when they're just featuring the live events, the Nations Cup, the Manufacturers Cup.
yeah,
That was amazing. I love that. And then also being involved with the predicting who would win. I love that aspect about it because it gets the single players into sport mode, which is amazing. But I feel like there needs to be more drive to get people involved in the multiplayer. I know other
yeah,
people won't be as engaged to do multiplayer racing. That's just how they want to play the game. But with this also going now back to GD Sophia, I feel like that's also an amazing thing to have
yeah,
because it gives that single player person the quench or it gives them a thirst to actually race more
yeah.
competitively. And yeah,
But
honestly, we'll see
we
the
also have to
update of
remember
December. Yes.
we also have to remember there's a lot of people that play the game that don't want to race.
Yeah.
Because I
There's
see
so
my
much.
comments and people are like,
Yeah.
why are you driving this car? Why didn't you just get an elastic band, put it on your controller, and come back to your
Yeah.
PlayStation every hour? I'm like, that's
No.
not
No.
what.
That's not.
No,
No.
like I know you can make 5 million credits now with just putting an elastic band, but
Yeah.
I want to
Exactly.
play the game. I want to drive. That's why
That's also the interesting thing about Gran Turismo, though. You've got people who literally just come onto the game to make photos. They drive around they drive around the track once, and then the rest they're doing for the rest of the evening is just taking photos of their car
Oh, the
at
photo
Grand
mode is
Valley.
amazing.
Yeah,
The
and
new
then
update,
yes,
the new
amazing. I
update.
love that. Well, I've
Honestly,
used that already. Yeah, I've used it already. It's fantastic.
I used to do photography, and
Yes,
long exposure photography was my favorite thing.
I
We
made a photo
we
already.
have that.
It's
We have
amazing,
that in Gran
honestly.
Turismo. Like, I don't think it works 100%. So I'm kind of seeing if it is this a catch to it.
So
So to maybe even do a video, but
yeah.
I
So
think I
basically, what
figured it out.
happened? Yeah. So if you want to actually get that sorted out, everyone else, so if you didn't know this, if you want to have those really cool photos where you see you're sitting on one part of the track and you see all these cars drive through maybe turn one and turn two in Le Mans, and you get all these like really cool red lights and then they're going around on the track. You have to let them drive around you, probably 2 or 3 laps, and then you start taking a photo and look stunning.
Yeah,
It's a difficult method to get it right. My friend showed me, but when it works amazingly.
I've
Yeah.
seen some of the photos, and
Oh,
um,
stunning.
I can do photography on the PlayStation on Gran Turismo 7 now.
Mm,
And a tip for that is if you want to get those light trails,
yes.
is it took me a while to figure out you can't focus on the car, so you have to focus to the
Yes.
track on a
Yes. To
certain
the track.
spot. Don't focus onto the car, and then you get those light trails, which are incredible. Um, so little things like that they've brought in.
Mm.
Um, you know, but what's next for Levitius? Where's the what's the end goal?
Yes. So at the moment, what is happening in life? It's actually a big adjustment that's coming now. So I'm taking a huge step in my life now because I'm taking over the family business while also going to continue streaming and making content. The only issue I've ever brought up on my stream is having these intermittent power issues in the country. So basically, the only ultimatum I had, right, with my mother, who is the owner of the business, that I'm going to be taking over because she's going to retire soon. Um, I'm gonna need an in power inverter. So when I come home, I can still make content. I can still stream. I can still do whatever I need to do, and basically just keep growing on YouTube and Twitch, and also doing a bit of TikTok and Instagram on the side. But honestly, what I've seen already in the last week of me being a part of the YouTube community now is that I want to unite both. I want to unite all the parts of Gran Turismo together and just basically enjoy racing and motorsport in general, and just come to talk about anything really at the same time. Honestly, I just a culmination of just passions of racing in my whole YouTube and Twitch journey,
Yeah,
and sharing maybe those cool moments on YouTube, for example, where I get some crazy win or a cool moment. It's just everything you can think of. Yeah.
yeah. And are we talking? I'm guessing I know the answer. I think I know the answer
Yeah.
is full time on Twitch or YouTube a
Yeah.
goal for you, or
Oh,
obviously having
yes,
the
for
family
sure.
business, is that the priority?
Well, the thing is, right, I feel like I am full time already because of how much passion I put into all my content creation. If I'm not streaming, I'm making a video. And if I'm not making a video, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be making in the
Yep.
future. And honestly, because I'm really happy that I can be my own boss, I can structure things in a way that I can optimize my time even better than
Yeah.
if I was working a 9 to 5, going from work, for example. Like it just wouldn't work as well. But considering I have all that full control and I know how to run the business really well already, it won't be difficult to call myself a full time, even though I'm not streaming from 9 a.m. all the way to
Yeah.
4. I'll still be making content 2 or 3 times a week and then streaming in between that. That's the goal, and I've balanced it out well enough that I won't get burnt out. That's the
Yeah.
key thing. Burnout is so important for content
Oh,
creators.
it's real. Like, I
You're,
cannot stress. Like, I I saw a post by Jimmy Broadbent, and I think most
oh,
of
he
us
talked about
saw
it.
this.
Yeah, I love Jimmy. Yeah.
And it really hit home because obviously our channels are nowhere near the size of Jimmy or Super GT or anyone like that. And doing this as a hobby, I can appreciate the work. So even the smallest of channels, 100 subscribers,
Yes.
I can see the amount of work that goes into it. Like, even myself, that post by Jimmy hit home
Yes.
because the last few days, like that video that came out yesterday, I've been thinking about that video for a few days since the update came out. I was like, I know the video I want to do. I know how I want to do it. I need
Yes.
to just get on and do it. Like that mini that's in that video,
Yeah, I remember that.
I've had that tune, that car has been like that on my PlayStation for about 3 months. It just happens with the update. I could just take it out and do that build.
It's like made for that moment, you know?
Yeah,
made for the moment.
The content, like the amount of work that goes in by every single person on YouTube,
Oh, for
like
sure.
them or hate them,
Yes.
you have to respect it because you have a job. You also do this as a hobby.
Yeah.
Making a video is not a quick task.
It was so daunting when I started.
So
daunting.
I want to give a big shout out to anyone who's put themselves out there on YouTube, on Twitch. The mental strength that you need to do it is bonkers. Like when you have a job,
I love
like
it though,
in my
yeah.
case, I have a job which luckily I haven't been to work for about a month now, but that's because I've had a different job, which is becoming a dad, and you then have to be a husband. You want to go in and game. You want to make a video. You have to also spend time with your family. You want to
It's a balance.
have
It's
time
a huge balance in life. Yeah.
So a big shout out to anyone who's out there doing content creation.
And it takes one video. It takes one video to open the floodgates. And if you're still sitting on that one video to upload, just do it. Thing is, right, it's never going to be perfect first try. If you would go back and look at one of my first videos in Gran Turismo, I'm cringing at the fact of what I used to say and do. The editing was horrible. It just didn't look right. But the thing is, right, it's building on what you started with than comparing to someone who is already well developed. Because honestly, it's all about building on information and building on knowledge the whole time. So, for example, when I started using DaVinci Resolve for my editing software, I didn't know what was going on. I don't even know how to do half the things I knew how to do now, and it's now second knowledge to me. Second knowledge to me. Sorry, pardon me, but it's second nature to me. Second nature to me. Pardon me, but it's so easy now to do a lot of things that were almost impossible to think of doing back then, and just starting with it and then going with it and then learning and carrying on is so important. Just keep going, and don't look at the views. Like, obviously, it's a good indication, but it helps to not look at them because you'll think too much about that and you'll forget about what makes it fun in the first place.
Yeah,
that's
hone
the
the
best
skills
advice
first.
Yes, hone the skills first, and
like we're all learning. Like I want to get back onto DaVinci. My editing software is CapCut, so all my videos are done on CapCut, which
and then
is
funny.
free.
Honestly, that's amazing to think about because it can be done on anything almost. That's also what I want to say. It can be done on anything.
Yeah. But I'm hoping to get back on DaVinci soon. I'm hoping. For anyone who watches the channel, like we're nearly at the point of getting a PC, which I'm very excited about because the laptop I'm using at the moment is very good spec. It's got an i7 11th gen. It's got 1 terabyte. It's 16 gig, but it doesn't have a graphics card.
Oh no! See, that's the one thing. Yeah,
that's the one thing I haven't got that. So I've priced up a PC. I've spec'd it out. My mate's going to build me one.
He's also my mate built me one. It is the
Yeah.
savior of a lifetime because I did not know what was going on the first time.
Luckily he's got a business that builds PCs. So
that's amazing.
He's priced it up. I know what I'm getting. I just need to put the last bit of budget because once you become a dad, you can't just take money out of this place and put it into somewhere else.
Yeah, you have to like just now. Okay, wait, this can go there. This can go there. This can go there. It must be daunting.
I can't buy a new phone. I haven't bought a new phone for about 4 years. That's because of sim racing. Because I want to get a Fanatec wheel, so you can't get a new phone. Then you want to get something else.
I can't wait to get mine. I'm getting my wheel soon. I can't wait for it.
I've seen you've ordered it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've ordered it. It's on the way. The thing is, I don't want to cut you off, but I had a bit of a problem to get it to South Africa. If you guys didn't know, Fanatec do not deliver to South Africa whatsoever. They don't deliver to most third world countries generally. But I had a solution because I got family in the UK. I'm going to get Fanatec to deliver it to my family in the UK. And then after that, we're going to use, I forgot the other courier, but we're going to deliver it to South Africa next Saturday. It's taken about a week already, but it's coming here. I can see it's coming. I'm hoping, one more thing is I'm hoping that maybe in the future I could work with Fanatec to start maybe opening up to maybe getting it to South Africa because there's such a market here. It's absolutely insane. And let's see, honestly, anything could happen. Yeah.
Yeah. You never close any doors. Like, it's one of those things, like, if you don't knock, you don't try. You don't get. So I've done a bit of knocking. Like, I've knocked around and luckily I found a couple of partnerships which having been a Fanatec affiliate is mental. I didn't think that would happen, but just a disclaimer, everything that I have that is Fanatec, I bought it myself, so it's one of those, like, I won't try and work with a company who I don't trust the product. And I think a lot of other people have said that. I'm watching the video by Tijni and he's saying the same thing.
You just got one as well recently.
GT Omega. I've been incredibly lucky for them to send me my rig, which
that's absolutely legendary.
I never expected it, but again, I've used GT Omega products for years. Since I started sim racing, I've had a GT Omega wheel stand. So it's the fact that I'm working with them, and
it started from the bottom, and now we're here.
And I'm hoping to carry that on. I mean, I need to. I'm hoping my picture will be on their website next to Rory.
That would be so awesome. Jeez.
It's looking like it could be a possibility, And then obviously when I get my PC, hopefully in the new year, then I can bring all of that together. Yeah,
absolute game changer for streams, content creation, flexibility. It just changes the game completely.
It does. Like, even to do this podcast, I would be able to just go into OBS and
then you give me the link, and then I would be able to just connect back up, and then it'll be like that. Yeah.
So no disrespect to StreamYard, because StreamYard is brilliant. If you ever need to use any software to do stuff like this, StreamYard is amazing. But OBS would be a game changer. Like, I could have my separate keypad with quick shortcuts and transitions and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I
also want to touch one more thing about that streaming in general. You don't have to have a PC to start streaming, by the way, because if you guys didn't know, when I started streaming, I was on a PS5 stream, and I had a PS5 camera. I've still got it there in my cabinet just in case anything happens to the PC.
Yeah,
touch wood, nothing happens. But you can start with basically the bare minimum, just like Wind has. He just moved over to PC streaming right now, and honestly, ladies and gentlemen, when you like have that issue where, but it doesn't look too good, I promise you now, slap on a face cam, just enjoy yourself while streaming, and start somewhere. It doesn't take too much to start. You just need to have the console, you need to have a little camera. I recommend having a camera. If you don't have a camera, I feel like it's a bit more difficult for people to connect to you as a person. But to each their own, But anything can happen. You just have to start. And just like I said with the YouTube videos, it's the same for streaming. You just have to have the courage to click go live, and then the rest will come naturally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. Like what you just said, I completely echo that 100%. Like, not having a PC, I could stream through this laptop in 720 through OBS, but I just use my PlayStation camera. Lighting is one of the biggest factors. So
for
when I
sure.
stream, I have a ring light. My PS5 camera sits in the middle of that ring light,
Yeah,
and I've got my RGBs which I put behind me, which I'm just trying to add a bit of extra
it helps. It really
flair
does
into
help
it.
a lot. Yeah.
But PS5 camera, I use this headphones with a microphone that just attaches into it. You don't need a lot. Like it's just
Yeah.
and then with time, like you said, Win's just progressed into a PC.
Yeah, I've helped him a
Flash
lot with
Dagger,
that.
yeah, Flash Dagger, who's
Yeah.
just got an
What's
epic
he's
PC.
absolutely amazing to see him getting a PC as well. That's gonna be so
Yeah,
good for him.
so I'm actually going to give
Yeah.
a bit of a shout out. Like, just remind me, tell me if I've missed someone. I want to give a
Yes.
shout out to the streamers out there, yourself, Wind,
Yes. You can
Sparks Theory, who's a
Flash.
legend,
Yeah.
Flash Dagger. Go and check Flash Dagger out. Deadeye Del Boy, I'm gonna put it out there. He's helped this channel massively. Like, if it weren't for Deadeye Del
I
Boy,
could
we
say
wouldn't
so
be
many
here.
streamers as well on Twitch. There's so many people I could give shout outs to. They're amazing people out there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, I want to give out a shout out to the amateur GT driver, Freddie, who,
Yes, as well. He's always in my streams as well. Absolute
yeah,
goat, honestly.
he's
Yeah.
just got a PC as well. Incredible to watch. And obviously, anyone else that's come onto the podcast. So you got CC, who goes into most people's chats, and Greasy Sam Squanch. And also Monica, who's a female streamer from Australia.
That's awesome to have.
The fact there is more females also taking part is really good.
Yeah,
So
and
if I missed anyone out, sorry. But there is a lot of people out in that community that deserves a big shout out. Those are just some of them, but I think we'll start doing a few in every episode just to get people noticed.
And honestly, the community vibe of everything. Obviously, there's not going to be the whole community is very connected together, generally speaking, except for some maybe bad apples. But I'm not going to touch on that. But generally speaking, the GD community is so connected. I feel like there's almost everyone knows each other in a way. Not all the time, but it seems like, oh, how you doing, bro? I remember you were in this guy's stream the other day, and then it's such an awesome feeling to know that people notice each other as well, and just having such a nice positive vibe as well. That's how the GD community is overall, though. The vibe in the community is way more positive than other typical popular gaming communities like Call of Duty or anything first person shooter related. I was from that scene, if you didn't know, and it's a breath of fresh air being a part of the GD community where it's just very everyone's just got the same passion and just want to share it, basically.
That's one thing I've found. Like, you can go in to watch someone stream and you're going to see the same faces in one stream. They're going to be in the other stream. And I don't think that anyone in the GT community hates. So, like you said, in the other sort of first-person shooters and that sort of stuff, like Call of Duty, there's probably content creators probably don't like to see another content creator succeed in their same field. And I found that in the Gran Turismo community, that's completely not the case. Like, everyone wants to see everyone else grow.
Each other, and that's the thing, growing each other together. Because honestly, yeah, sure, maybe if you didn't want to help anyone out, you could possibly grow. But when you help someone else out, and then it's not like I feel obligated. Oh, you need to help me now. It happens naturally. We race each other all the time in Gran Turismo. We see each other on track all the time. We're bound to be a part of each other's like content and just in the same space as each other, and there's no hesitation there. The Twitch YouTube side is just so it seems like it's separated. I promise you it's not. From what I've seen now, it's actually way more connected than I thought. It's just people prefer their platforms. It's just platforms based. And
it's just what you watch it on. Like, I use both. I use YouTube predominantly, so which is why I said having you on YouTube is like,
I love YouTube. I love YouTube though.
It's a breath of fresh air. I've got that on every TV in the house. I could literally turn the TV on, pop YouTube on, and like, okay, I'll lurk and just watch this person. So,
and shout out to all the lurkers, by the way. You are amazing for all of us streamers. If you're at work, you just pop on the tab and you say hi, then you say I'm lurking, working, whatever. Those are also some of the best people I've ever had, because that helps us so much as content creators, because it helps attract more people to come in, because
Yeah,
it's basically how that thing works. Where, oh, there's people watching this guy. Let's go check him out, and then it creates this whole chain
yeah,
reaction that I had to explain to people at the beginning when I was new. For example, even in just you being there, lurking helps a lot,
yeah,
no matter what
massively.
happens. And yeah, shout out to the lurkers. Honestly, it's so big for us. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
and for anyone streaming that you don't have a lot of viewers, I mean, or like
Mm,
not viewers, but if your chat isn't sort of moving as fast as some other people, don't get
mm.
disheartened. Still keep on talking, like you said earlier,
Yeah, like keep
because
on talking. Yeah,
people are watching. Like I know the other day, I was like, I had maybe one person or two people in chat while I was
yeah,
streaming, but
yes,
I knew there was at least 13, 14 people watching.
yeah.
Like, so
That's how it is. Yeah.
I'm still grateful that those people are there, and those people are just as
Mm,
important as the
yeah.
ones typing in your chat.
I've had a
It's
very interesting experience with those people, because I cut you off there, but I had this one person who resubscribed to my channel for almost 18 months on Twitch now, and they've sent three messages in those 18 months to my chat. Three. And that is just a perfect example of some people don't even, they just choose not to talk, but
yeah,
they just love the energy and the vibe.
yeah,
And like that's what I'm saying. Anyone who's there, even you just being there, means a lot. Even if we
yeah,
don't know you there, it just means a lot as well. It
yeah.
just, yeah.
I echo that because I've got channel members that very
Mm,
rarely come into my chats.
yeah.
But I'm grateful that they choose to become a channel member and
Yeah.
help the channel out every single month. Um,
Absolute legends. Yeah.
and you don't have to come and chat. You can just support. You can just be there. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to
Mm.
subscribe. You can just. I mean, it helps.
Yeah, it
Um,
does help. Yeah,
it
definitely.
does. But just knowing that people are there and watching the content, commenting,
Mm.
in the video and all that sort of stuff. But let's go into a bit of a light-hearted
Okay.
side of it.
Okay.
I know you're itching for this, right?
Okay.
Are you still friends with a lot of English people
Oh
and
no,
a
no,
lot
I
of
definitely
Kiwis?
am. No, I definitely am. It's just let's just say I was very passionate about my win against both those countries, because, or even France, because my team is French and they also love a little bit about rugby and everything. Let's just say I did make it pretty obvious that we won all those three games when we weren't playing the best, if you know what I mean. I
Yeah,
still feel like we showed up against New Zealand. We really did. But for England and France, let's just say the better team did not win on those days, but the more talented team won, if you know what I mean. They bailed
yeah,
themselves out with amazing plays, and that was just a great experience for us South Africans here.
yeah.
Uh,
How was it watching the final? Because I know
oh,
I messaged you and I before the game
yo,
I'm like South Africa's got this. I thought it's
honestly,
done.
like cricket is to India, rugby is to South Africa. Even though we've got a cricket team as well,
Yeah,
rugby is very much our sport that we follow through and through, no matter what. It's when we go to our local bar, it's just packed full of everyone wearing green and
yeah,
gold shirts. If you're not wearing a green and gold shirt, you are the odd man out, and it's like a religion here. And the passion it brings everyone together. Like our country is obviously very diverse, and it's that one game that everyone loves to watch. Everyone loves to experience together. And honestly, it means so much to us as a country as well, where we have going through some issues in the country, but we know that when it comes to sport, it unites us as well as one. And
yeah.
yeah, it's inspirational,
Uh,
honestly.
I
Yeah,
mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
yeah,
rugby
yes.
has helped massively in South Africa.
Mm,
Um, I I mean, I know I'm an outsider. I don't really experience
yes,
it like you do every
yeah,
day, but I've got a lot of South African friends. I've got friends in Joburg
yeah,
that I've worked with, and you know,
yes,
I've got friends who I work with currently that are South African,
yeah.
and I think it's from Cape Town. Um, and I just know, like, they talk about rugby like it's like I talk in my country about football, you
Yes,
know.
for sure.
But I know, like, all the political stuff that everyone's sort of heard about on the news
Mm.
in the 90s. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think rugby and winning that World Cup
You
was a
it
big,
was a huge thing for us, honestly. Considering, if anyone is not aware, I'm just going to touch on it very slightly. With the whole country going through this bit of a crisis with electricity and power production, basically means that on a normal day, it's powers off from 6 to 8 hours a day. So it has been a bit of a strain to our businesses and the whole country in general. But it just shows with a lot of adaptation and what we've been going through in my mom's business that we can do anything, even if we're in the worst situation. And that's the South African spirit where we never give up. That was very much shown in the World Cup. I'm going to go back into that because we never gave up for all those 80 minutes, even though it looked like we were down against England, looked like we were down against France, looked like we were down against, we were already down against New Zealand because it was a bit of a head-on.
Well, it looked like you were almost out against New Zealand.
Yeah, almost. But you get the sense of how South Africa are just so naive, or they're so stubborn to never give up. They'll just keep going no matter what for every single second, and it just represents us to a T. Honestly, it's amazing. Yeah.
I'm really hopeful that rugby takes off, especially in Portugal, where I'm from.
They did a good job in the World Cup winning that game. That's a huge thing for them to win a game for once.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, rugby isn't like even in the top. I mean, is it maybe in the top 10 of sports in Portugal? Probably not. I mean, you got sports like roller hockey and volleyball that are ahead of rugby in Portugal.
That's crazy.
But to see where it's come from in the last sort of 16 years. So, like, our first World Cup was 16 years ago.
And that's a long time ago. Jeez.
It was the last World Cup in France before this one. And I remember celebrating a try versus New Zealand.
Yeah.
One try versus New Zealand.
So much.
We lost by about 100 points, but we got one try.
And
then fast forward 16 years, we're back at a World Cup. And these guys have sort of built on what the Wolves did from, was it 2007, I think it was? And we took Wales to the limit. Like, Wales struggled against us.
And Wales are no slouch. And Wales are no slouch at all. So
and then we nearly beat, was it Georgia? In our second game. And I was like, it was one of those where it's like, it's Georgia. Like, we had, it was the 80th minute, we had a penalty. And if that had gone in, it would have been the first ever World Cup win. We got a draw. And then we're playing Australia, and we're like, hold on, we're not doing bad against Australia. Like, it's actually, we're holding our
Australia.
own.
It is Australia.
And it was Australia.
Southern Hemisphere team. That's no slouch usually. So
we did well against Australia. We lost. I mean, but I see it as a win. And then going into the last game against Fiji, I'm thinking, this is Fiji. They're no slouches. They're
a very physical team. Extremely physical team.
They went through. And they knocked out Australia. Jeez. We beat Fiji. I was like, how on earth?
And this is Fiji who played England to like almost losing. I think England almost lost against Fiji, right? So that is just wild to think about. That happened. Yeah, it's crazy.
And so it's like I said to you a few weeks ago. Like, you might have won the World Cup, but we won the hearts at the World Cup. And
I know what you mean. Definitely.
Yeah, it's. What's happening with rugby in Portugal now is mad.
A breakthrough. Yeah.
It's a lot of our players play in France, but the Portuguese Rugby Federation have actually signed a deal along with the Athletics Federation and the Football Federation to build the new national stadium.
Oh, that's huge. That is amazing.
The new national stadium will hold all the major football games, like the finals and all the sort of stuff. But it'll also be an athletic stadium for international competitions, which will help in maybe trying to get a few more Olympic gold medals. But also the rugby team will get to play at the new stadium.
Oh, that's epic. That is epic.
So
finally having a dedicated grounds to show your national team. That is a big step. Yeah.
So it's definitely got me more into rugby, because I said to you before we started recording that I used to play rugby in college, which you guys will call high school, and I was the hooker, and just knowing like no Portuguese people played rugby at that point. You know, it wasn't really a thing that people talked about.
Basically, it was just football.
Yeah.
And
and now rugby is a
Or
known
you get
sport like
Ronaldo, you get Ronaldo taking photos with the rugby captain. That is huge
yeah,
in its own to get more exposure. Just to say, yo, guys, we are doing something. Please, like, you notice us now. We've done something.
yeah,
It'll inspire a younger generation as well to get
yeah.
involved. Yeah.
And it's made it more patriotic because like if you go on YouTube and you search for Portugal rugby anthem, like
Yes.
they're powerful images. Like there's
They're
grown men
really
with beards,
singing
like
together. Yeah, it's amazing.
crying, singing and crying. So yeah, but congrats on the World Cup win.
Thanks, man.
Maybe the next time out we'll try and do something better and maybe beat South Africa at some point.
Yo,
Here's hoping
but
they'll
yeah,
change the Six
honestly,
Nations.
that'll be interesting to see if maybe they get involved as well. Yeah.
Well,
Can they get involved?
I
I don't know how it works, actually. I'm not
no
sure how it
no.
works.
So Portugal won't get to play another top tier one team probably until
Yeah.
the next World Cup.
How come is that? Because they're just
It's
not.
just to do with how it's organised. So
Yeah.
you've got the Six Nations,
Yes.
and it's the top six. Well, I said the top five plus Italy,
Yes.
and then you've got the tier two nations. So you've got Georgia, Portugal, Romania, who would be the top second tier, and
Yeah.
Portugal and Georgia kind of dominate that section there,
Yes.
but they can't progress. There's no
Just,
way.
just stuck in that box. Just can't jump up to the next. Yeah.
So
That's
Portugal-
so frustrating.
So Portugal and Georgia will play each other tens of times in the next 4 years. They won't get to
Yeah.
play a tier one nation until probably the next World Cup.
See, that's maybe the issue in the situation for them. Maybe he just needs to try and organize a test match with a country for like 3 matches, maybe.
Yeah,
Because that's valuable. In my opinion, that's more valuable than playing the same countries at your level. Rather get pummeled, but then you maybe get some good plays and then you learn from playing against better rugby
Yeah.
players than playing against the same people all the time. Yeah.
yeah.
It's that's so tricky though. They have to try and dig themselves out of that situation somehow.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be a relegation and a promotion.
Sure,
So
that'll
if you finish
be
bottom,
maybe Italy. Maybe Italy will be
It-
gone, but they can't.
yeah.
It's
If you
tricky.
finish
It's a
bottom
really
of the
tricky
Six
one.
Nations, go relegated into tier two. Whoever wins tier two goes into tier one, and then you kind of.
That can't work.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can cycle it out. I mean, would the Six Nations teams really want to agree to that? Probably not.
No,
But that's a whole other matter. But
for sure.
yeah. Anyway, we got not long till the F1. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
we'll start wrapping it up soon.
The Brazilian Grand Prix is exciting. Really exciting.
No, it's not the
Sao
Brazilian Grand
Paulo,
Prix.
Sao
They're not the
Paulo
Brazilian,
Grand Prix.
which is still the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yeah, I love that track, man. That's a beautiful track for an F1 car.
I love a track that has corner names, not corner numbers.
And that's just the character, honestly, of that
Yeah.
whole track. It's just the racing there was produced yesterday in the sprint race. Amazing, honestly, and
What's your opinion? Do you think it was a good sprint race, or do you think it's a naff one?
it's a better sprint race than the general consensus. But the problem is, right, this is the situation that people keep bringing up. We want sprints out, but the thing is, then we have races like that where it goes well. It's more track dependent, and maybe also what's going on in the championship is also a bit of a factor, because if there's not as many things going on, there's people that not take as many risks. Like, for example, you saw everyone yesterday go on the soft tires, but then maybe, let's say in a situation where maybe there was a bit more of a championship at stake, maybe there'll be more variety in the tires, because I know Haas went on mediums, but it's Haas, okay? It's Haas.
It's all.
Like, maybe
Oh well,
saw-
you say that they did qualify on pole last year.
Oh yeah, but yeah, they did qualify on pole in a changeable conditions. That was cool. That was cool. But in my experience though, there you saw all the people in the softs. They were starting to fall off the cliff at the end of the stint. No one went for mediums. Maybe if there was more of a risk at stake, they would probably go for that risk and see it'll work out to get an extra point or two at the end of the race. But it's difficult. Sprint races, they can work really well. They can. They can also be horrible, like in the US, because we had Qatar, insane sprint, but that could have been also track conditions dependent and other stuff. And then you had Brazil, where it's just good racing, racing there. So it's a tricky one. It really is tricky.
Are you thinking reverse grids?
I could see maybe the top eight maybe reversed, like a similar F2 format where they take the feature race, they keep the feature race in normal normal qualifying order, but then for the sprint they just flip it around a little bit. So that could work. Yeah.
That would be interesting. I want the sprints to stay because I mean, do we want to watch another FP2 or do we want to watch a race?
That's a valid argument. That is valid. Maybe they could change the format up a little bit where they could still
Yeah,
have maybe Friday FP1 and then sprint qualifying after that, and then on the Saturday morning the sprint race, and then like they said now the new format, then they'll do FP2 open Park Ferme and then qualifying for the race afterwards, and then the race. Maybe it's a bit more understandable how that works, but it's trying to make the new viewer feel a bit more engaged and
yeah.
not confused at the same time. It's tricky.
See,
It's a tricky balancing act.
I'm
Yeah,
a bit older than you, and I think Formula One in my day was a bit different. You know, qualifying was 1 hour, a bit
yeah, I remember that.
like free practice,
Yeah.
and you had the whole
It
hour to
wasn't
set
broken
your
up. It
best.
wasn't broken up. You had 12
No,
laps and you had 4 push laps, basically in lap, quali lap, no, out lap, in lap, and quali lap. That was it.
yeah,
And you had 4 runs. So that was basically very simple back then, but it was not engaging. Yeah.
the one lap qualifying was pretty fun. I thought.
I would love to see that. Honestly, they should experiment with that because of how amazing their graphics are. They could focus on each individual driver, and yeah, it could rain, but that happens. And if it rains,
Yeah,
it rains. If the track conditions change, it only will get a little bit better at the end. But it's not as
yeah,
it's not as much a revolution of the track, or evolution of the track. And I feel like they'll be amazing with how they can cover everything, focus on every driver,
yeah,
gets more sponsor time.
yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Like Formula E, I
Yeah.
think Formula E do it pretty good because they split it into groups.
Yeah, 4
Um,
groups, I think. 4
four
groups.
groups, I think it is.
Yeah,
Then people go into the final, and then you kind of get the
the super
pole position.
qualifying.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
there's
Yeah,
loads of different ways they could do it, but
the one shot.
I'm
Be
just
cool.
glad. I'm just glad Formula One is very popular again. It's you know, as someone who's been watching it since the late '80s.
Yeah,
W-
I've been watching F1 since I was basically born. I
yeah,
remember Schumacher. Like ever since I was born, I would draw the red F1 cars, and
yeah,
honestly, what an experience! Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm going to a race in the next couple of years. I
Oh,
don't know
that's
which
awesome.
one, because it's my 40th next year, and the wife's told me I can go to a Formula One race. Now there is caveats
Ooh,
because
yes.
I was like, "Oh, can I go to Vegas?" And she's like, "No, you can't go to Vegas." I was like, "Okay, can I go to Tokyo or to Suzuka?"
Suzuka.
She's like,
Yeah,
"No, no, you can't go. You can't go to Japan without me." I was like, "Okay, where can I go?" So it's like, "It has to be in
yeah.
Europe." I was like, "Okay, can I go to Silver?" No, it's too expensive.
I went to the Italian Grand Prix in 2012. That was
Yeah,
the best experience of my life, going there with the old V8s as well.
yeah.
Bro, that was amazing. That was just
Oh, those.
screaming V8s. I could hear them from kilometers away, like
Yeah.
6, 7 kilometers away when I was entering the park. It was just what an experience.
I
Honestly,
would
at
tell people
Monza.
how power. I've seen Formula One cars up in real life. Never been to a race, but they did an exhibition in London a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm probably talking about 20 odd years ago in Piccadilly Circus, all the way up Regent Street.
Ooh. Yeah.
I mean, the place was packed, but just to give a sense of how loud those engines were, even through a city at slow speeds, I had a Samsung flip phone.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
This
couldn't register the audio properly, right?
No, the phone stopped working, so
Oh my
it
gosh.
blew out the microphone
Yeah.
because of the noise of the Formula One engines. That's how loud those things were.
Definitely.
Um,
And
so
I also had videos of my experience there. And when the F1 cars would fly past, you would hear the F1 car coming, and then when it got really close, probably within 50 meters, the microphone would get distorted because that's how loud they were. It couldn't
yeah,
actually capture the audio. It was like high of a RPM or decibel they would use. Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. Absolutely
but
insane.
yeah, it's mad. But yeah,
Jeez.
we're gonna hopefully McLaren will win.
Ooh, I don't know what to
Ideally,
expect there. I don't know what to
ideally
expect.
Lando. Maybe Lance Stroll will do a favour and crash into Max Verstappen
I think
and take
honestly,
out.
it's about who comes second. It's not about who wins. I always think about that now. Listen, Verstappen's Verstappen. He's doing an amazing job. Just let the guy carry on until
He's too good. He's too good.
Because the thing is, I know it's the car as well, but it's also about him as
It's
well. Because Perez is no
it's not the
slouch in my
car.
opinion.
It's not the car anymore. I don't think because if you look at
How
yesterday's sprint.
consistent. He's just
Lando
insane.
Norris is on a new level now,
Yeah,
and if it was the car,
yeah.
Lando Norris at best would have finished third. He pulled away from a Red Bull consistently for that
He had like
whole
8 second.
race.
It was like an 7 8 second gap to Perez or
Yeah.
something. It was wild. Yeah.
So I don't buy the whole it's the car anymore because the driver has something to it. So if you had, like you said, Perez is no slouch.
He's
He's a
struggling to
fast
get
racing.
second though, Perez. He's struggling to get second. I know he's gone through some difficult times, but honestly, thing is right. Max's unrelenting, like just consistency at the front all the time and not slowing down at the end of the year that he's known he's won the championship. Like Hamilton used to do a few times where he just let off the gas because he knew he won the championship.
Yeah.
That consistency is scary because he's already got like 50 odd wins, 51 wins now, I think. Something
He's
crazy.
same
like
age as
that.
you, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's the same age as me. No, he's a little bit older than me. A little bit older, but it's wild. It doesn't stop. You know?
It's bad. You get it's a person from your generation every time. Like my generation is, I'm the same age as people like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lewis Hamilton. That's that. Okay, that puts my age out there, right?
It's crazy, man.
You're the age of the new breed. Like it's
The Leclercs,
weird.
the Norrises, the Russells. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I'm old school. I'm in the age range of the Alonsos
You
and
still
the
got
Hamiltons.
Alonso. Alonso's still here, killing it. I wish he would have a bit more of a consistent car because I don't know what's happening at Aston. Then one week they were Q1, next week they're Q3. I don't know what they're doing. So
Well, you heard of the paddock rumor, haven't you?
they're gonna wait. He's gonna go to Red Bull or something, Alonso.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Apparently.
So Fernando,
what
do not give us any consequences for talking about it here. But
Oh my gosh! If that happens, that'll be insane. But I don't know. I feel like, yeah. You
can you imagine Fernando and Max?
Listen, I would
Lewis,
say something controversial right now. I still rate Fernando over Max. I'm sorry, I still rate him, even though he's not in his prime now. I feel like Alonso has had so much bad luck in his career, but he's just such a insane driver for what he's done. I would love to see him race against Max. I think Max would beat him now, but let's say it was 2012 Alonso. I don't think anyone can beat 2012 Alonso in terms of how well he performed that year. So
you know what happened with that year? You know, Fernando has been he's created his own bad luck. Like every deal he has signed in Formula One has been the wrong one. So when he went to Ferrari,
in 2010,
do you know where he had the option to go?
was it Red Bull as well or something?
He had the option to go to Red Bull.
And replace Mark Webber, I'm assuming. Right?
Yeah. He didn't go. Sebastian went.
So it wasn't to replace Webber, it was to be with Webber. Oh my gosh.
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was before Sebastian. So Fernando could have been in that Red Bull.
Jeez. Just imagine that.
He's had he went to McLaren at the wrong time.
When Ferrari peaked, when Ferrari started peaking.
Ferrari peaked. He went to McLaren, to the worst car that's probably ever been. Right. He then left McLaren as they were going
when they
up.
Started peaking, and I'm like,
to go to Renault or Alpine, right?
After they peaked in 2020 already.
Luckily, this time round it's a different trajectory. He's gone to Aston Martin when they were getting better,
but now they dropped
and now they dropped again. But he's had his podiums. So
I still
poor
want
Fernando.
I just want to see one more win by him. Just one more win because I'm a big fan of his. Very big fan of his. So.
I mean, everyone's got to love Fernando, no matter who. I think just like every Formula One driver, just respect what they do out there. I mean, we couldn't do it, so.
I think the more impressive thing is that when we had Michael Schumacher in F1, like obviously Schumi, he's my idol, but Alonso at the same age as Schumacher was good. He got some decent results, but nothing compared to Alonso, where he is literally just making Ferraris and Mercedes look like they're nothing when he was absolutely killing it at the beginning of the year. And that's just a testament to how much of a legend he will be remembered by, just to show how much skill he has, Yeah.
I think only one driver has probably ever been better than Fernando.
Yeah.
And that's Ayrton Senna.
Oh, but Senna's something different. Like he was just
Like
different gravy. So,
I grew up watching Senna. I stopped watching
yeah,
Formula One for about 5 years
yeah.
after Imola '94
Jeez,
because
dude.
as a Portuguese person, we don't really have Formula One drivers. We had Pedro Lamy, and we had
He's not a
Tiago
bad
Monteiro.
driver.
No,
Oh,
we had
Tiago
Tiago
Monteiro.
Monteiro, who's a Formula One podium winner.
Yeah.
There was only 6 cars, I know.
Was that Indianapolis or something?
In the
05? Yeah.
so as a Portuguese person, we levitate to the next nearest thing, which is Brazilians, because they're different. We speak the same language.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about colonization and all that sort of stuff because that's all in the
Yes.
past. So we kind of just naturally support Brazilians. So I was like, as a young kid, I'm like, oh, Ayrton Senna, he speaks the same language as me. I can relate to him. He's really quick. He's like ridiculously good.
So
And then I'm
talented.
watching that. Yeah, and then I'm watching that race in '94, and I'm like, he's had a bad year. He's had a bad start, but
I don't think he had a bad start. The car was just horrible at the beginning.
No, I mean to the season.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the Williams was meant to be. Well, this is where he's very similar to Fernando. He went to Williams at the wrong time.
When the technical directive happened where they stopped using all the electronic stuff, and then that's what made the car also very sketchy because the car was designed to have all the electronics on it to be stable, and then the rest is history.
So
Unfortunately,
I remember watching that race, and then the whole thing as a sort of, I was 10 at the time, just being able to like say to my dad, like, what's happened? Is he alive? Is he dead? And all that sort of stuff. And then you're like, Senna's dead. Like, that's why I watched Formula One. So I was like, I can't watch it. And then this is why it kind of took me a while to like Schumacher, because who was the car following Senna when that crash happened?
it was Schumacher.
It was Schumacher. So it's kind of like a passing of the torch. It's like those generations intertwine.
But it was just a very abrupt end because honestly, we just got the beginning of Schumi. And then the peak of Senna's career, he was in his peak still. That
would have been the next few years worth of battles.
I feel like that season would have been crazy because you're thinking about Damon Hill, how well he was doing in that Williams. No discredit to him, but it would have been it would have been a monumental battle with Schumacher because how Schumacher and Senna are. I'm taking this corner. I'm taking this corner. It's like Max Verstappen and Hamilton.
Yeah.
There's no space given basically, and that would have been crazy. To think about.
But I started watching it again. I sat in Michael Schumacher's Mercedes, so that's probably another thing for.
That's awesome. Okay.
I'll find the picture. I've got to post it on my YouTube as a community feed. But I've sat in the Michael Schumacher Mercedes racing F1 2015. So that was an experience. But yeah. Not quality. The race is starting soon, so I think you want to.
35 minutes.
Yeah. So
awesome.
We'll leave it there. We'll try and get you on to do the challenge in a reasonably priced GT7 car at some point when I figure out the combinations. And thanks for coming on.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure, man.
Again, before we go, anyone else, check out Levitius on Twitch. If you do have those Prime. Amazon Prime accounts, go and just drop it on there.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Just spam it because it's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, join the Lev Familia. Join the Lev Familia as well. And then, shout out to you.
I've definitely joined.
Hosting.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
And also subscribe on both channels here on YouTube. The descriptions will have all the links down below once it goes live.
Awesome.
And also don't forget. GT Omega is supporting the channel massively, so they're giving you 5% discount on anything that not anything because not all the products qualify, like the Moser ones, but any GT Omega product you get 5% off using the code ChunkyGT at checkout. And remember, they've got a Black Friday deal on that's up to 40%, and that 5% goes on top of that. So go and check it out, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Awesome.
Chunky and Lev out.
Ciao, guys.
See you later, guys.
Awesome.